In the vast expanse of space, where countless stars burned and died, a lone human ship traveled through the black void. Inside, a man named Ray sat in the pilot's seat, watching the blinking lights of his console. He had seen many things in his years as a space traveler, but nothing quite like the request he had just received. The message came from the planet Velari 7, home to a species called the Velari. They were an advanced race, known for their peaceful ways and strong connection to nature. The message was simple. Human assistance required. Urgent matter. Will compensate greatly. Ray had no idea what the problem was, but he was a problem solver. That was his job. Humans had earned a reputation across the galaxy as fixers. Whenever something went wrong, people called a human. It wasn't because humans were the smartest or the strongest, but because they had a strange ability to solve problems in ways no one else could. As Ray's ship entered Velari 7's orbit, he marveled at the beauty of the planet. Massive green forests stretched across the surface, with rivers of glowing blue water. Strange, bird-like creatures soared through the pink skies. It was a paradise. His ship landed near a large structure made of smooth white stone, surrounded by golden trees. The Velari were already waiting for him. A group of tall, elegant beings stood in a circle, their skin a soft shade of silver, their large eyes filled with curiosity. They wore flowing robes that shimmered like liquid metal. One of them, who seemed to be the leader, stepped forward. "You are the human called Ray?" the leader asked, her voice gentle but firm. "That's me," Ray said, stepping down from his ship. "What seems to be the problem?" The Velari exchanged glances before the leader spoke again. "We require your assistance with a delicate matter. Come with us, and we will explain." Ray followed them through the structure, which was cool and filled with strange floating lights. He noticed that the Velari moved with grace, almost like they were gliding instead of walking. Eventually, they reached a large chamber. Inside, several other Velari stood waiting. They all looked concerned. The leader turned to Ray. "Before we explain, tell us, why are humans known as problem solvers?" Ray shrugged. "I guess it's because we think differently. We don't always follow the rules. When we see a problem, we find a way to fix it, no matter how strange the solution is." The Velari leader nodded. "That is what we hope for. You see, we have a situation that we cannot resolve on our own." She gestured toward a large doorway. As it slid open, Ray saw something unexpected. A group of Velari females stood inside, looking uncomfortable and slightly embarrassed. They all had a strange shimmering energy surrounding them, and their expressions showed distress. Ray blinked. What exactly is the problem?" The leader sighed. "Our biology is different from most species. Our bodies produce a special energy-rich substance that is essential for our young and for our survival. However, something has gone wrong. Our climate has shifted, our bodies have changed, and now, the process will not stop." Ray frowned. "You mean, it's happening too much?" "Yes," the leader confirmed, "and we cannot manage it alone. Our technology does not help. Our knowledge fails us. If we do not find a solution, it will become a great burden. We need a problem solver." Ray ran a hand through his hair. Of all the things he expected, this was not one of them. But a problem was a problem. And solving problems was what humans did best. He took a deep breath. "All right, let's see what we can do." Ray stood in the large chamber, staring at the group of Velari females. Their silver skin shimmered under the soft white light, and their expressions showed a mix of discomfort and hope. He could tell that whatever was happening to them was serious. He turned back to the Velari leader. "All right, let's start simple. Have you tried anything to fix this problem?" The leader nodded. "Yes. We have tested many methods, adjusting temperature, altering diet, even using advanced technology, but nothing works. Our bodies continue producing energy beyond control." Ray crossed his arms. "And what happens if it doesn't stop?" The leader's face grew serious. "It will weaken them. Our bodies were not designed for this constant process. If we do not find a solution soon, they will fall into exhaustion. Ray frowned. This was bad. He had solved a lot of strange problems in his life. Mechanical failures, alien misunderstandings, even a rogue AI. But this was different. It wasn't a machine he could repair or a system he could reboot. It was a biological issue. Still, humans had a way of looking at things differently. Maybe that's why the Velari had called him. All right, Ray said. If technology doesn't work, then we need a natural solution. Let's start with some basic checks. The leader gestured for Ray to follow, and they moved toward the Velari females. Ray noticed that they stood with careful posture, as if trying not to disturb their own bodies. He walked up to one of them, a young-looking Velari with bright violet eyes. "Hey," he said gently. "I'm Ray. I'm here to help." The Velari female gave a small nod. "I am called Sira." Ray looked at the others. "Can you all describe how this started? Was it sudden or slow?" Sira glanced at the leader, then back at Ray. It was slow. At first, it was normal, but then it increased. We thought it would stop, but it only became worse. Ray rubbed his chin. "And you all have the same issue." They nodded. "All right," Ray said. "Let's check something basic. What do you normally eat?" The leader responded. "We consume a plant-based diet, rich in minerals from our planet." Ray thought for a moment. "Did your diet change before this problem started?" Sira exchanged looks with the others before answering. "Yes, the northern forests, where we gather food, suffered a shift in climate cycles. We had to change our diet slightly, but we did not think it would affect us in this way." Ray snapped his fingers. "That could be it. Maybe something in your new diet is causing this reaction." The leader's eyes widened. Could it be so simple? "Sometimes the biggest problems have the simplest causes," Ray said with a shrug. "If your bodies weren't designed for this new food, it could be throwing everything out of balance." The leader turned to one of the other Velari. "Prepare a sample of all recent food sources. We will analyze them." Ray smiled. "Good. Now while we wait, let's try to manage the problem. Since your technology didn't work, we'll have to find another way." Sira shifted slightly. "What do you suggest?" Ray thought for a moment. "Well, humans have something called manual intervention. If something doesn't stop on its own, sometimes we just have to manage it ourselves." The Velari females looked at each other, confused. Ray sighed. "All right, let me explain in a way that makes sense. Imagine a water source that keeps flowing. If it overflows, it causes problems, right?" Sira nodded. "Yes. But what if you remove the extra water regularly? The problem stays under control." The Velari leader's eyes widened slightly. "You mean a method to control the excess rather than stop it?" "Exactly," Ray said. "If stopping it completely isn't working, then maybe the answer is to manage it in a way that keeps everyone healthy." The Velari considered this. "And you believe humans can assist with this?" Ray chuckled. "If there's one thing humans are good at, it's adapting to unexpected situations. We'll figure it out." The leader smiled for the first time since Ray had arrived. "Then we shall trust the human way. Let us begin." As the Velari prepared their food samples for analysis, Ray prepared to do what humans did best: solve the unsolvable. Ray sat on a smooth stone bench inside the Velari research chamber. Around him, several Velari scientists moved swiftly, placing food samples into scanning devices. The air smelled faintly of flowers, and the soft hum of machines filled the room. The Velari leader, standing beside Ray, watched as the researchers worked. "We have collected every plant and mineral that has become part of our diet since the problem began." Ray nodded. "Good. If something in the food is causing this, we'll find it." Sira, the Velari female who had spoken with Ray earlier, approached with a curious look. "Your thinking is very direct." Ray chuckled. "Humans don't like to waste time. If we see a problem, we start fixing it. Sometimes we don't even know how we'll fix it. We just start. Syrah tilted her head slightly. That is unusual. We prefer deep understanding before action. Ray leaned back, stretching his arms. That's the difference, I guess. We don't always understand first. We experiment, we fail, and we try again. It's messy, but it works. Before Syrah could reply, one of the Velari scientists turned from the scanner. Leader, we have results. The leader stepped forward. Speak. The scientist held up a small holographic display. We have found an imbalance in the new food sources. The northern plants contain a rare stimulant that was not present in the old diet. It is likely the cause of the increased energy production. Ray grinned. Bingo. So if they stop eating that stuff, things should return to normal. The scientist hesitated. In theory, yes. However, the effect has already altered their bodies. Stopping the food intake may take time to reverse the condition. Syrah frowned. How long? We cannot be certain. It may take many cycles before the body resets. Ray sighed. So we found the cause, but not an instant cure. He looked at the leader. That means we still need a way to manage this until things go back to normal. The leader nodded. Your earlier idea, manual control, perhaps that is our best path forward. Ray tapped his fingers on his knee, thinking, all right, let's get practical. If we can't stop the process immediately, we need to find a way to regulate it safely. Syrah spoke softly. We have tried machines, but they are inefficient. Our bodies reject artificial methods. Ray smirked. See, that's where humans are different. We're hands-on. Maybe the solution needs a personal touch. The leader considered his words. You believe your kind can assist with this? Ray shrugged. Humans have worked with all kinds of biological challenges before. Medical treatments, agricultural techniques, even symbiotic relationships with other species. We adapt. The scientist nodded. It may be worth testing, but it will require trust. Ray stood up. Then let's prove it can work. Syrah looked at Ray with a mixture of curiosity and hope. You truly believe there is no problem too strange for humans to solve? Ray grinned. Haven't found one yet. And so the Velari placed their trust in the problem-solving nature of humanity, setting the stage for an unusual but necessary partnership. Ray stood in the research chamber, arms crossed, deep in thought. The Velari had trusted him to find a solution, but now came the real challenge, putting a plan into action. The leader observed him with curiosity. You seem to be considering something important. Ray nodded. Yeah. If machines don't work, and stopping the process will take too long, then we need a hands-on method. Something that can be done regularly, safely, and without causing harm. Syrah, who had been listening quietly, took a step forward. Do humans often find solutions through direct action? Ray smirked. More than you'd think. We don't always have perfect tools, so we use what we have. We find a way. The Velari scientists exchanged glances. One of them spoke, adjusting a small holographic tablet. Theoretically, if there was a natural method to balance the process, the condition could be controlled over time. Ray leaned forward. Then let's make it practical. We don't need to stop it all at once. We just need to stabilize it. The leader considered his words. You're suggesting an ongoing management system. Exactly, Ray said. Like tending to a crop or maintaining an engine. You don't let it overflow. You keep it running smoothly. Syrah's violet eyes showed curiosity. And humans have experience in such things. Ray chuckled. More than you can imagine. The leader seemed thoughtful. If we accept this solution, it will require trust. Our people must be comfortable with human involvement. Ray nodded. I get it. This isn't something you usually deal with. But if we handle it carefully and with respect, we can make it work. Syrah gave a small smile. Then let us see if the human way truly is as effective as the stories say. The decision was made. The Velari, for the first time in their history, would allow human assistance in a deeply personal matter. And so, The experiment began, an unusual but necessary partnership to restore balance. Ray stood in the Velari research chamber, watching as the scientists prepared for the first trial of his plan. The air was filled with a quiet tension, the soft hum of scanning machines the only sound. The Velari leader observed him closely. "You are certain this will work?" Ray exhaled slowly. "There's no guarantee, but that's how humans operate. We test, we adjust, and we keep trying until we get it right." Sira, standing nearby, gave a thoughtful nod. "It is strange how humans move forward even when the outcome is unknown." Ray smirked. "It's called problem-solving under pressure. If we waited for perfect answers, we'd never get anything done." The scientists finalized their preparations. One of them turned to the leader. "We are ready." The leader hesitated for a brief moment before nodding. "Proceed." Ray stepped forward. "All right, let's do this carefully and make sure everything is monitored. If anything feels wrong, we stop immediately." Sarah gave him a steady look. "We trust you, human." The trial began. The Velari observed closely, and Ray focused, ensuring every action was controlled, safe, and effective. As the minutes passed, something became clear. The method was working. The leader's eyes widened slightly. The energy flow is stabilizing. The scientist checked the readings. Yes, the process is now balanced. A wave of relief spread through the room. The Velari exchanged looks of amazement. Sira turned to Ray, her expression unreadable. "You truly have a way of finding solutions where none exist." Ray grinned. "Told you, humans don't give up." The first step had been a success, but there was still more to do. The human problem solver had only just begun his work. Ray leaned against a smooth stone table in the research chamber, watching the data screens. The first trial had been a success, but he knew one test didn't mean the problem was fully solved. The Velari leader stood beside him, her silver eyes scanning the reports. The readings confirmed stability. The energy production is no longer overwhelming. Sarah, who had participated in the trial, took a deep breath. I feel normal again." Ray grinned. "That's a good sign. But we need to make sure this isn't temporary. One success doesn't mean we're done." The scientist nodded. "We must continue monitoring. If stability remains, we can confirm the method is effective long-term." The leader turned to Ray. "How do humans usually handle situations like this? When a solution is found, do you declare it complete?" Ray shook his head. "No way. We test, adjust, and improve. Even when something works, we look for ways to make it better." Sarah looked thoughtful. "Your kind never stops improving." Ray chuckled. "Nope. That's why humans keep pushing forward, no matter what." The leader nodded. "Then we shall follow the human way. Let us observe the results over the next cycle." Ray agreed. The work wasn't finished, but for the first time since arriving, he felt confident. The Velari had trusted him, and now they had hope. The human problem solver had done what he did best, found a way forward when no one else could. Ray stood outside the research chamber, watching the Velari city glow under the twin moons. The silver buildings shimmered in the soft light, and the sky was a vast stretch of deep blue. A cool breeze passed over him, carrying the scent of alien flowers. It had been several cycles since the first trial, and the results were clear. The method was working. The Velari females no longer suffered from uncontrolled energy production. Their bodies had stabilized, and they could now regulate the process without fear of exhaustion. Behind him, the Velari leader approached. "Ray, we have finished our final tests. The condition is under control." Ray turned and smiled. "That's great news." The leader's silver eyes reflected gratitude. "Without you, we would not have found a solution. Your methods were unexpected, but effective." Ray chuckled. "That's the human way. We adapt, experiment, and keep going until something works." Sira joined them, standing with her usual calm expression. "I have never seen a species so determined to solve problems. You refused to accept failure. Ray shrugged. Giving up wasn't an option. When people need help, we help. That's just how we are. The leader nodded. We have learned much from you, Ray. Your kind is truly unique. Ray stretched his arms. So, what happens now? The scientist from the research chamber stepped forward. Now that we understand the condition, we can manage it ourselves. But we will always remember the human who showed us the way. Syrah looked at Ray with a rare smile. You have changed our world. Ray grinned, all in a day's work. As he prepared to leave the Velari homeworld, he knew that humanity had once again proved its value in the galaxy. Where others saw impossibility, humans found solutions. And with that, the human problem solver moved on to his next adventure.